Let's go over this. So in this problem, I can't have an I, and in your notes we wrote, to get rid of that I, I'm going to have to multiply that by the what? Well, to get rid of this binomial, I'm going to have to multiply by the conjugate. Class, the conjugate of 5 minus I is 5 plus I. But in your notes, we also asked the question, what should you always be sure to do? You should always multiply by 1. Well, how do I make this a 1? I have the same expression, 5 plus I. You see, anything over itself is equal to what number, class? 1. And it doesn't change the expression. So in this problem, I have two problems. Number 1, number 2. In the numerator, I can just distribute. 3 times 5 is, and 3 times I is 3I. Now the denominator, do not make the mistake of multiplying just the first and the last. 25 minus I squared, opposite -1. I think the person who thinks it's just the first and the last will get 26. But that would be incorrect, because yesterday you learned to do what? How would you multiply those? Everyone say the box. We did the box yesterday, right? Five minus I can go on the top or the side, it does not matter. Times 5 plus I. Remember from yesterday's lesson, we learned to do what first? What math operations? Multiply, then add or combine like terms. Let's do that together. Class, 5 times 5 is 5. I times 5 is 5I. Negative I times 5 is negative 5I. Negative times a positive. And I times I is I squared. Let's write those 4 terms up here, and then you'll see that we'll just combine like terms. 25 plus 5I minus 5I over minus I squared. Partner B, tell partner A, what do we know about I squared? Go. Alexa, what do we know about I squared? -1. Pay attention now. Oh, thinking about myself space. So 15 plus 3I. Here I have 25, positive 5, and a negative 5I. If you add those together, because they're like terms, it just equals 0. So they cancel. You have this opposite sign, so you have to put that here. Do you see it? So now I have 15 plus 3I over, class, what is 25 minus -1? 26. The answer to the first problem is 15 plus 3I over 26. Alright, let's try the second example, and I want you to think about our first example. Think in your head, how many times will you do the box? Partner A, whisper to partner B. Go. Class, how many times will you do the box? You're going to do the box twice. Class, what is our conjugate? You have to look at the denominator and then you switch the sign. The reason why you're doing 2 boxes is because you have a binomial times a binomial, that's 1 box, and then you have a second box for the denominator. In question 1, we only did 1 box because you only have 1 set of binomial times a binomial. Taylor, let's go ahead and multiply the numerator. Taylor, what goes inside that box?
9, 6, yeah. 4.
So he said 6 plus 4i plus 3i plus 2i squared. I was walking around and it's okay that some students are just using the FOIL. You would have gotten those same 4 terms. Let's combine like terms now. Manal, I squared is going to become what?
-1.
So Manal, -1 times 2 is?
-2.
So 6 minus 2 plus 4i, 3i. Manal, combine like terms?
6 plus, oh wait, it turns into 4 plus 7i.
Did you notice basically we're doing 2 separate problems in one? You have the top of the fraction and the bottom of the fraction. Vincent, let's go ahead and multiply this one.
It'll be negative 6i. 6i. Negative 4i squared.
Good. And this is how you know you're doing the denominator correctly. Remember, the conjugate is just one is minus and one is plus. You know you're doing it correctly if here the middle terms cancel. Do you see that? So now I'm just left with 9 minus 4i squared. Gustavo, I squared is equal to -1. So Gustavo, what's -1 times -4? Positive 4, yes?
Yeah.
And 9 plus 4 is 13. 4 plus 7i over 13 is our answer. Raise your hand if you got that. Did we make any mistakes in there? So be careful when you're multiplying. Remember, a binomial times a binomial will give you 4 terms. Remember that I squared is equal to a -1. Be careful of the negative sign in front.
Love math. You don't love math? What's wrong with you?